Let's say you're an actor who works on Broadway and you've been playing the same part for a while now, but you feel like it's time to take on a new role. There is a role available in a play that you've always dreamt of being in. So you go for it, but it's a busy time in your life and you don't manage to properly learn the script or the screenplay. When it comes to showtime, you fumble your lines, you wear costumes that aren't even yours, and you stand in the wrong place at the wrong time. You realize you need to go back and properly learn the script and practice your new role. How can you play a new part without really training your mind to understand and accept the new character's lines, mannerisms, and cues? You need to study your new script and fully understand it before you can act it out. Here's an interesting thing to think about. In your own life, you've been playing a part. You've accepted a script and you've always lived out that story. But you may not have been the conscious writer of that story. You've let the ideas that you've learned and assumed throughout your life automatically write your script, and you've unconsciously played the part. In his book, Psycho-Cybernetics, Maxwell Maltz wrote, "It is no exaggeration to say that every human being is hypnotized to some extent, either by ideas that he has uncritically accepted from others, or ideas that he has repeated to himself or convinced himself are true, as the negative ideas implanted into the mind of a hypnotized subject by a professional hypnotist. Since childhood, you've been bombarded with messages from parents, teachers, society, or your own experiences. Some of these messages were empowering, but some were laced with limitations, as we covered in previous lessons. Over time, those messages formed the soundtrack of your unconscious, influencing how you see yourself and how you see the world. This is not about blame or dwelling in the past, though. It's about understanding the roots of the weeds in your mental garden. This awareness is the first step toward choosing and learning a new script. You have the incredible ability to rewrite your inner narrative. This isn't about pretending that problems don't exist or forcing naive or toxic positivity. It's about cultivating a resilient mindset and realizing that we need to focus and aim upwards for things to change for the better. Your mind has been automatically conditioned since birth without your choosing. And now it's time to recondition your mind and shift your identity to one that is more authentically you. You have the power to consciously choose the thoughts that you think, interrupt the inner script that is running in your mind, and start living by a new script. In stage 2 of the Phoenix 90 program, you consciously created a new script, your positive vision of the future. And you defined the most important parts of that vision, or you could say scenes in the play that you want to aim at. It's now time to properly learn and train your mind on that script. For you to be able to play your new part and embody your new identity, you need to properly train your mind to fully accept and believe it, so you can start to unconsciously live it out. That's when you know an actor has completely mastered their part, right? When they totally embody their character and act it out without forcing it. It's become unconscious and automatic, and it's captivating to watch. In the beginning, though, it of course does take a lot of getting used to. You have to learn your script until you know it off by heart. You need to practice your role until you can embody it fully and feel it completely. Don't worry though, you are more than capable of doing this. And how best to shape yourself into this new part is what the rest of the Phoenix 90 is going to help you do. When you've been playing an old role for such a long time, it can feel foreign to try and fit into a new part. You may have thoughts that tell you you shouldn't have left your old role. You had lots of happy moments where you were. It wasn't that bad, and you've made a mistake. Who do you think you are to think that you can pull off this new part? This is normal though. You are stepping outside of your comfort zone, and naturally, it can feel uncomfortable. But remember, this is your dream part, and before long, you will have mastered it, just like you did the last one. Think of it like training for a marathon. You wouldn't expect to run 26 miles without doing any practice. Similarly, positive reconditioning takes practice and consistency. Over the last few lessons, you've identified the weeds that take over the garden of your mind, that are your unhelpful thoughts and limiting beliefs. But you've also identified the already established positive plants and trees in the garden of your mind, which are your past victories, your strengths, and your useful outlooks. From here on, you're going to become the conscious gardener of your mind. Armed with your new script as the seeds and the saplings of future fruitful plants and trees, and the tools that we are going to cover here, you're going to curate the garden of your mind into a beautiful paradise. Think of your mind as a precious garden. To create a thriving landscape, you need the right tools. Tool number 1 is your self-talk tiller. A tiller is a garden tool used to turn over soil. Just as the gardener needs to identify weeds in the garden, you need to become aware of the negative thought loops playing in the background of your mind. When you notice unhelpful thoughts arising in your mind, simply acknowledge them, state that they are not real or that they are unhelpful, and turn them over by affirming a more truthful or positive perspective. For example, you notice the thought, "I am so clumsy. I always make a fool of myself." You simply acknowledge the thought by saying, "This isn't true," or "This isn't helpful," and turn it over with something like, "There's been plenty of times that I haven't made a fool of myself. Either way, everyone makes mistakes, and I've made my fair share, but I can laugh at myself and move on." Or whatever works best for you. The key to this is stopping the negative thought process and affirming the opposite or the positive. Tool number 2 is your seeding planter. A seeding planter is a tool that you use to plant new seeds into the soil. You don't have to wait for negative thoughts to arise to consciously choose to think in line with your new script or your positive vision. You can and should practice your new script whenever you get the chance. Oh, the weather's starting to go a bit weird here. It's making my lighting go a bit strange. Anyway, you can set reminders on your phone to consciously affirm positive thoughts, or write priority goals on sticky notes and stick them on your desk or in the sun visor in your car, or create a goal card and carry it with you and read it whenever you can. Write your goals as affirmations in the present or past tense and read them quietly or speak them aloud. Every time you think these thoughts is like planting a new seed or watering an already existing plant in the garden of your mind. By consciously choosing these thoughts, your belief in them will start to grow, and they'll influence your mind and start to take on a form and shape of their own. Your third tool is your power to envision. Just as a gardener envisions their garden in full bloom, you'll use visualization to imprint your desired future into your mind. This isn't just about wishful thinking, it's about training your mind to recognize and reach for what you want. There are 4 steps to doing this. Step 1 is find a quiet place, take a few deep breaths, and close your eyes. Step 2 is imagine yourself living out your positive future vision using all of your senses. Step 3 is cultivate the emotions of that future vision. Feel the joy, gratitude, and peace. And step 4 is bringing all your attention to those feelings. Emotion, after all, is the language of the unconscious. By consciously creating the emotional state within you of already experiencing your desired future, you're breaking the patterns that you unconsciously live out again and again. The more you do this, the more you'll start to identify with and align with your new script and your positive vision. As you uproot the weeds of limiting beliefs and start to plant the seeds of empowerment, you'll start to create an upward spiral. Your thoughts become more positive, your actions bolder, and your experiences start reflecting this. The world doesn't magically change overnight, but your ability to navigate its challenges and capitalize on its opportunities grows and grows each day that you cultivate your new identity.